Thank you, and welcome to join us. Thank you for joining us, and welcome. Tonight's topic is going to be, we've been told, on toxic relationships.
All right. Tricia wanted me to tell another one of my Texan stories. So tonight's story is about two good old boys that were out at a fishing cabin. And they're sitting on the cabin, talking to each other, got an old hound dog laying on the porch. And the guy looks at his buddy and says, "How come that dog keeps whining and twitching? He's just laying there asleep." The guy says, "Well, the reason for that is he's laying on a nail." And, "Well, why doesn't he move? It's not hurting him bad enough." Yes. But that's how we are in relationships a lot of times, and in life. Until the nail starts causing enough pain, we don't get off of it. So my question to each of you tonight is, how bad is the nail actually pushing on you? And are you ready to get off before it hurts?
So give us a moment to step aside, take a few slow, deep breaths. We know what is on your heart, my children. We understand your struggles. We see what happens in your life. We are with you. We watch. We know we are here, and your guides are here to help you. But we understand many of you have shared a concern about relationships that you are in. Some of you have said they are toxic. Some have said they are just maybe perhaps not so healthy, or that they are it's time to move on. These are things we're going to talk about now in this channeling. We want you to think about toxic relationships first, though. Many of you have heard these words, toxic relationships, and you hear them on all of your different media, social media, TV, websites, whatever. And we want to clarify a few things for you tonight. What is a toxic relationship? What does that even actually mean? If a relationship is not in your highest and best, it is probably something you need to evaluate. If a relationship continues to not be in your highest and best over a long period of time, you definitely need to evaluate it. We wanted that story because we are again going to ask you, how long must you lay on that nail before you change? Before you move. And we see relationships a little differently than many of you. Relationships require 2 or 3 or 4 people. You can have a relationship with yourself, and sometimes that too may be toxic, but we wish for you to look at that at a different time. Right now, we are looking at with external beings, or beings that appear to be different than you. Whether that is at work, in friends, or with a lover. If a relationship is toxic, if a relationship is bad, the first thing we ask you to do is to look at your part of that relationship. All relationships require multiple people. A relationship is not one person. By definition of your own planet, that is not the way you describe relationships. You must have multiple people involved to have a relationship. So, what is your part in the relationship? What is your part that you are contributing to a toxic relationship? So think of it as two beings that are connecting for different reasons. And these two beings have a third entity in the middle called relationship. So the relationship is not the other person, and it is not you. It is a third thing. And you both contribute to that third thing. So, as a normal situation, you may be a very loving person. In a normal situation, that person on the other side may also be a normal, loving person. But when you get together, you rub each other and you create a relationship that is not healthy. So we want you to look at this differently. We wish for you to look at your part, your responsibility. Sometimes your responsibility means that you are staying there when you know it is time to leave. Sometimes your responsibility is that you do not have good boundaries in the relationship. Sometimes the responsibility is it just brings out the worst in you, triggering your own stuff. But the first step in any relationship is to look internally. What is this going on inside of me? What am I contributing to this unhealthy relationship? Because it always takes more than one person to create that relationship that is in the middle. So, once you identify that, you will find that it is easier to then decide the steps. If it is a situation where you are both, in perhaps a romantic situation, where you are both willing to go to someone and have a conversation like marriage therapy, then we request you do that. Please understand, many of you are healers. We have given, and Source has given many people the healing ability. Some heal physically, some heal emotionally, some are gifted as therapists, both massage, physical, whatever you call these things, and some are gifted as therapists with relationships. That would be, in your world, those are called counselors or social workers or psychotherapists, whatever you call them. There are people with that gift to help you see how these two beings are creating a toxic situation, or at least an unhealthy situation. Now, that is the first step, to look inside and see how you are contributing, to perhaps go to someone else who can help you see how you are contributing, not to fix or change the other being in that relationship. It does not work that way. Inner work is for you, not the other person. They must choose their own inner work when they are ready, if they are ever ready. That is not for you to decide. So, first, look internally. Because the other part of that is that it is possible that you are in that toxic relationship for you to get something out of it. Sometimes it is for you to learn better boundaries. Sometimes it is for you to learn more self-love. Sometimes it is for you to get something from this situation, so perhaps you do not repeat it again when you go to the next one. Always look. How are you contributing? Always look. How is this something that I can grow from? If you do not participate in the relationship, then it cannot be a relationship. If you choose to walk away, that is fine. Sometimes that is necessary. Often it is. If you choose to work on it with a third party, that is also fine, and sometimes that is required. We wish for you to not automatically think a relationship that is difficult or hard is toxic. That does not mean that. A true toxic relationship means that it is soul-sucking for both parties. Remember, you, them relationship. If it is sucking the life out of you, then you need to look at that and make a change. We do not wish for you to suffer. There is no part of this plan that says you must stay in a really bad situation and suffer. And we will give you the key to get out. The key is to learn and gain the wisdom and knowledge that you need from this relationship so that you do not repeat it again. If you are in a situation that is not good for you and you are constantly fighting in that situation, you cannot leave it. There is a tether attached. you stay stuck. We ask that you find the lesson, the learning, the blessing, the guidance for you in this relationship so that you can walk away. Because we do wish for you not to suffer. We do not wish for that nail to go through your side. We do not wish for you to feel like you are being crucified. It is not required. What is required is self-reflection. What is required is self-love. What is required is for you to determine what is in your highest and best. If you are staying in the relationship hoping the other being will change, they will not. We are here to tell you that is not how the game works. Imagine that you are on a level of a video game. We have used this reference many times. So you are on a level, and you learn what you need to learn at that level. You learn how to maneuver that level. You do not want to stay at that level. You wish to move to the next level of the game. You cannot pull someone with you there. And if you do not gain the insight personally, you cannot move to the next level. There are rules in the game, and those are some of them. You must learn internally your part and why you are stuck in this bad relationship. When you learn what's going on internally, you can clear that tether and allow yourself to complete that level and move to the next in the game. Release what is holding you there only by looking inside, only by self-reflection, only by finding what in this situation can help me grow as a being. What in this situation can help me clear my dross? What in this situation can help me open and be more connected to source? What in this situation that is terrible can help me be more compassionate? In this case, it is a self-reflection. It is about you, not the other person. If you stop participating in the relationship, then there is no relationship. If you move away, there is no relationship. So you must do the reflection, the internal work, the getting what it is you need to learn or get from that poor relationship so that you can finish that level in your life and move to a higher level. Again, we do not wish for you to be in pain. We do not wish for you to stay in situations that are bad. We do not wish for you to stay in a toxic relationship. Yet fighting all the time in that relationship will not allow you to move. If you are fighting in that relationship, you are stuck in that relationship. You must release. You must let go. You must say, I am done with this fight. I have gained what I need to gain. It is time for me to move on. Toxic relationships do happen. When it is not good for anyone, when it is taking everyone down, when you are not in a good space, that is a relationship you must reevaluate and consider releasing. We know this is not always easy. But it is easier if you can go inside and find the thing you need to get to help you move forward. What is it that you need, not what is it that they need? When you get that peace internally, when you find that peace internally, even in the situation, you can think clearer. And when you can think clear, you can make better decisions to move out of that relationship. Whether that is work, personal, or friend. We wish for you to gain the lessons quickly, to get the pieces of the game, the puzzle, quickly, so you can continue up the levels and continue moving forward in your life and not feeling stuck as you can grow and move and continue evolving. All that are up here, all that are with us, all that are here, love you greatly. When you love someone, you do not want them to hurt. When you love someone, you wish to protect them. And so what we are sharing tonight is to help you so that you do not stay stuck and struggle. It is time for you to get the pieces you need from whatever that relationship is and release it so you can move on. It is time for you to find that inner peace so that no longer you feel attached to unhealthy situations, to find that self-love, to find those good boundaries. It is time for you to do this as the energies shift and realign, as you feel things changing in your life. Now is the time to make that change. Go within, reflect, learn, grow, and be ready to release and move on. Now is when you need to move forward. Do not wait. For we love you and wish for you only the best. We love you and wish for you only peace. Yet you must find this inside yourself now. You must find this for yourself.
Relationships. Our beloveds have said this clearly to you, and that is simply relationships require two or more. What was not shared, however, is there is also a relationship between your higher self and your ego self. And this too must be resolved. For while they are not separate entities, they are. Your higher self will always look for that which is in your highest and best interest. Your ego, however, very seldom wants what's in your highest and best good. Your ego wants what is in its interest. Notice I did not say best or highest. And what is for its good. Every relationship other than this one that is external, and we have said this many, many times to you, everything that is external, everything that is out here in front of you that you are looking at with your eyes that you think is other than you is a movie screen. Nothing more. It is a reflection of what you are projecting from inside. Everything that you are looking at outside of you is a reflection of what is going on inside. So the very first toxic relationship that you must heal is the one between your own higher self, your own inner divinity, and your own ego. All other relationships are giving you clues. So if you are in a workplace that is driving you batty because no one wants to accept accountability, then what you are being asked to do is look inside of yourself and find those areas, not necessarily in the relationship itself, but those areas in which you do not want to accept accountability for your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own behaviors. Within this relationship of self and ego, you need to begin paying attention to the words that run through your head every single day. Right? You need to listen to that conversation that is constantly happening in your head. When you begin to pay attention to this conversation, you begin to catch the ways in which your ego, your lower self, is sabotaging your own personal happiness, peace, and joy. It is also sabotaging your ability to truly experience love, because it wants to be the only thing you love. Move beyond your ego. You see, as you begin to connect more and more to your divine self, as you begin to connect more and more to Source, what you begin to recognize is there is no other, but there is also the need to examine you. You need to look at those words. Are you telling yourself when you make a mistake, you idiot, you should have known better? Are you telling yourself, you know, I look in the mirror and I really don't like what I see. I don't like the extra love handles, as you call them. I don't like this about myself. I don't like that about myself. This is toxicity. Yes, this is toxicity. When you are putting yourself down, when you are belittling yourself, when you are allowing yourself to be around those who also do this for you, belittle you, put you down, this is all toxicity. You do not have to remove yourself from toxicity, but you must find a way to not become the toxicity. When our beloved said to you, look at what is happening and own your responsibility for it, this is a very, very true statement. Look at yourself, look at the patterns that you have that are being reflected out here in whatever relationship you have chosen to call toxic. And yes, many challenging relationships exist, and they are not all toxic. Right? Toxic again means the relationship is destroying both you and the other that you are in relationship with. Now, we will say there is a slight qualifier here for the internal relationship, because no amount of toxicity in the human body or any form is going to have even the slightest effect on your inner divinity, on your soul, or on Source. But it will still have a negative impact on your life if you do not clear that internal toxicity. If you do not look at the negative thoughts, if you do not look at the negative behavior patterns, if you do not look at how you are setting yourself up for failure. Many of this, we have talked about the ways to let go of these things. We have talked to you about forgiveness. We have talked to you about realizing the past is dead. It cannot touch you now. Let it be dead. Do not dig it up every single day. Your ego likes to do this and remind you how dumb you were by being in that situation, or how bad you were by choosing to do that. Let it go. It is dead. It will no longer haunt you unless you choose to resurrect it and let it haunt you. Now, while we were on this topic, we have said it is vitally important to do this work, and the reason is you may be in a truly toxic relationship as a couple with someone. You terminate that relationship because you simply say, that person no longer is someone I wish to be with. That job is no longer one I wish to take. But if you have not looked at what is your part of that situation, what toxicity you brought, and trust me, each and every one will bring some toxicity. If you have not looked at that, you will simply find the next relationship with the exact same person who happens to be in a different body, or you will find a job that has the exact same challenges that the one you have left had. You must look at your shadow. You knew that word was coming, didn't you? Yes. all of these things that we were talking about, all of what we were saying, you must take the time, the effort, the energy, and the honesty to go within and deal with your shadow, to deal with the toxicity that is you, and clear it, forgive it, and move forward. There is no point in trying to improve your, we will back up. Trying to heal a toxic relationship, job, whatever, without doing this work is like saying, I am going to eat all organic food, I am only going to drink pure water, but I'm also going to eat arsenic. All right? There is no space in which you can contain toxicity and not have it ooze out in one way or another. Do your inner work. We say this to you over and over and over again. Do your inner work.
We hope you understand, my children. We hope you get that what we are talking about is compassion for self, compassion for others. Really getting to the place where you can forgive yourself for what you have done, where you can love yourself with regards to anything that you have done or not done in the past. We do know that there are some relationships you need to relinquish, you need to get out of, and you need to get out of quickly. This is never a question. Except, do not get back into another relationship until you have done true inner work, as was mentioned. If you are in a relationship and you release that and you move out, and you turn around and get right back into a relationship without any inner work, you will, as was mentioned, repeat the pattern. Hear what was said. Everything that is out here is a projection of something that is in here. Everything that you see in this relationship is somehow projection from yourself. So what that means is there is something unhealed inside yourself. There is something that inside yourself you are not really ready to let go of, or there's something inside yourself that needs approval and are still seeking from someone currently that is reminding your little self inside of your mother or your father or a abusive relationship of the past. It is very important for you to do this inner work. Not only during the relationship, but if you have released that already, do it now, before you jump into another relationship and recreate the exact same situation. But please hear, the most important thing is to review what it is you must work on, to review what it is your part in the relationship, to review what is happening or happened in the past, all through the lens of compassion for self first and compassion for others also. True self-unforgiveness causes us to attract energies that will take advantage of that. True self-blame and lack of compassion for self will help you attract those that have no compassion for you. As was mentioned, self-belittlement will attract someone externally who will belittle you. It is important that you take the time now between your relationships or while in a relationship to look at what is in your mind, what is in yourself, what are you saying, what are you doing, and heal that. Through your forms of therapy, psychotherapy, heal that through your gifted ones, heal that through those that are there to help you. I will tell you that this is hard work. Many of you would like to choose a spiritual bypass. Many of you would like to choose an easier road. You would like to go to someone and let them wave their hands and make it go away. This is not how the game works. You cannot go to a healer and wish them to take it away. That is not self-work. You cannot go to someone who may be very gifted and wish they could fix it all for you. That is not self-work. You must be willing to show up and do what is required. To show up and have those conversations with yourself. And look at those parts of you you may not actually like. It is important for you to understand how you contribute to this poor relationship. What is it you are bringing? Perhaps it is vile. Perhaps you are also so upset in a relationship you are spewing evil things or bad things. You are saying things about other beings who are also source. Perhaps you are in a work or family relationship and you are finding to vent with everyone that comes by and saying negative things about the job or the person. You are spewing that negativity. Please know that is your part of staying stuck in that relationship. That is why you are having a hard time releasing and moving on. That is why the next, let's say, job opportunity has not shown itself. Because you are participating in the toxicity of that relationship. And you will say, oh, no, not me. I do not do that. I am above that. You are not. We are asking you to be honest with yourself, to look inside with compassion and love, and understand that being in a physical form, that choosing and being here on this planet allows you to experience things, have emotions, feel hurt. All of those things are wonderful experiences. Please just do not stay stuck. Please do not stay stuck. We love you. We wish for you to move on, to learn and gain what you need to gain with compassion for self, so that it is easy to go through the levels of the game. It is easy to evolve. And as the energies coming in are changing and are stronger, they are going to bring up every unhealed wound you have. The external energies of the planet are going to bring up all of the toxicity that is inside of you still. All of the negative chatter, all of the self-deformation, all of the things that you are saying to yourself, that you are doing that are harmful to not only those around you, but to yourself. When you find compassion for yourself and compassion for others, when you can see the other as yourself, you can see they too have wounds. That is what they are barking out of, their own woundedness. You do not need to stay in that woundedness of theirs to fix them. That is exactly the opposite of what we are saying. But you must see the dynamic between the beings involved and own what part of that is yours. When you are able to do that, you are able to heal. You are able to have that compassion for self and others. You are able to move up in the level of the game. You will not feel stuck. Things will flow much better. Please trust this as truth, for we speak only to our desire for you to not be in situations that are painful. Release them, get out of them. They are not for you for forever. And then heal so that you do not repeat that cycle again. Heal internally your part of that projection so that it does not happen again.
It was just stated that you are not in a toxic relationship to heal the other person. This is vitally important for you to recognize. It is not your job in a relationship to heal the other person. It is your job to look at what you need clearly, honestly, no matter how painful that may be. Take the blinders off, take the rose-colored glasses off, look at yourself, look at how you behave in this relationship, take ownership, and then you are free to decide what you wish to do. Until you have looked at your part, until you have looked at your contribution to the toxicity of all the relationships that you are deeming toxic, you are doomed to repeat them. Once you have begun the path of looking at and taking ownership of that which makes you toxic, you can begin to eliminate that. You can begin to find new ways of interacting, new ways of seeing, new ways of hearing things. In other words, you will be changing your perspective because the inner toxicity is blurring your vision, for lack of a better word. Now, we've laid this out in many ways for you, and we know that this is not an easy path, but it is a path that you must walk. It does not matter if you walk it in this lifetime or another, however, but it is the path you will be taking. Just as when you go to school, there are required courses and there are elective courses. This is not an elective. This is required. Whether you do it today, tomorrow, or 1,000 lifetimes in the future is irrelevant. But we do encourage you to do it now because you are here now and you have opportunities to do it now. Have we made the now clear enough? Right? Work your own stuff. Stop blaming God, the universe, your partner, your animal, the weather, whatever. Stop blaming the movie screen for what's happening inside. Even when you are in a real movie with your body on this planet, you will notice that you will have an internal reaction to what's on that screen. It's here. So when you are looking at the screen, but you say, but I'm in a relationship with this person, but I have to work with these people. Wonderful. There's still a screen. It's still you having the reaction. Take your charge off and watch the screen change. It's that simple. And I know many of you have written questions, and we will now step back and allow the questions to be asked. Thank you for your time and attention.
Do we want to keep the camera rolling during questions? Yes. The first question I have is about being tethered. After ending toxic relationships and no longer speaking or having contact and having learned lessons with people in these toxic relationships, why do I still feel connected to those that I love the most and still think about them? And how do we cut what binds us? Is there some other way to do that?
I will take this one. That is a question with many layers. First of all, you can never unlove someone. You may be able to unfriend them, but you cannot unlove them. Because love is actually who you are and what you are, and love is what the other person is and what they are. When you are talking about toxic relationships, you are only talking about behavioral patterns, not about the source behind the person. Right? So, how do we break this tether that you have? One is recognizing that what was just said to you is a truth. You will always love that person. Stop trying not to. Stop beating yourself up for still loving them. That is actually appropriate. What is tethering you to them is there is either on their part or yours some desire remaining for the energy that took place in that situation. When you recognize you no longer need that energy, you free yourself from it. This does not mean because the screen actually has other bodies out there that are truly not on a screen but representing one, and that being that you were in relationship with is also used to receiving and giving energy to you, even though it may seem like toxic sludge when you were in the relationship, it is still an energy exchange. When your energy is withdrawn, they notice that lack of fuel, for lack of a better word, lack of food, for lack of a better word. Now, what do you do about that? When you feel those draws, as was stated, come up, we encourage you to recognize them for simply what they are. The fact that this was a being that you dearly loved at one point and now is no longer a part of your life because of this toxicity, and you simply say, I love you, I set you free. Then you walk into the bathroom or the nearest place you have a mirror, look in the mirror and say, I love you, I set you free. There is no need for cutting cords, which we do not like that concept anyway, because from our point of view, when you cut a cord, it causes a rubber band snapback to both beings, and this is not in the best interest for any of you. It is not overly harmful, but it is discomforting, and it also draws attention to, ooh, a cord was cut, which perks up the energy of, what is this energy I'm now missing? We would prefer that if you wish to release that type of cord, that you simply see it as the tentacles of an octopus or a squid, and you see them and you see all these little tentacles going out and they're touching all these other beings. Just take a deep breath and let them drop. They're your tentacles. If you see an energy conduit that is coming to you, do not cut it. Simply let it be withdrawn and drop. That again stops the snapback, stops the reactivation of that situation. Just let the tentacles drop. That is all you need to do. And you?
I agree.
Okay, another question. How do you handle a toxic person who is a family member, so you cannot distance yourself from them because they're within your family?
I will take. It is exactly what we have already said. We wish for you to have that insight personally. Again, they may still be toxic, but if you have self-love, if you have self-worth, if you have concerns for yourself, you will not allow that to influence you. So if this person, and I do not know the specifics, if this person is currently living in your household and you cannot get them out because of the situation, as was mentioned, a family member, then you can still distance yourself inside the home as much as possible. You can actually do that. Yet the biggest thing that we have mentioned that we want you to hear is that when you heal what part of that relationship is yours, and when you heal that peace and you have that self-love, please understand, we know that it is inside of you. We see the beautiful lights of self-love already there. Many of you will say, well, how can I love myself? I cannot do that. It is very difficult. I have all these self-esteem issues. Please know, when you go to who you really are, when you go to the core of who you really are inside, that is it. It is love. It is love for self, love for others. That is all that you really are. All of these other things are just on top of. All these other pieces are just coveralls you put on. Your avatar, your emotional issues, because truly you are love. So take the time away from this person if you can. Remove yourself from the situation when you're possible. Go into your own room, get in your car and go somewhere where friends are around you and they love you. And know that in them they are acting out of their own wounds. So when someone acts out of their wounds, imagine this. Imagine that you have an animal who is wounded. You see a wounded animal, perhaps a cat, in your yard, or a wounded dog in your yard. And you know they are hurting. You see the wounds. You have compassion for them. And you go to help them, and they bite you. That is nature. It is the same with your humans. They have their own wounds. You cannot fix them for them. All you can do is to stay in your own self-love and know that when they lash out, it is from their own wounds that they are lashing. It is not yours to take on. It is not yours to embrace and claim. So next time you are in that situation with that person in your home that you cannot escape and they are lashing out, imagine in your mind's eye that they are a hurt puppy or a hurt kitten. And you can be as loving as you want to them energetically. You can have compassion in your heart for what they have gone through. But you cannot fix them because they are going to bite you, and not allow that. And keep that visualization in your mind as you hear them lashing out. Again, protect yourself in the ways you can, but go within and have that self-love, knowing that it is about them. Because much was mentioned about the tentacles. This is a visualization we gave to these beings many, many years ago. Imagine that that tentacle is coming, as I had pointed before, as a relationship, yours and theirs, and they are coming together, and they are sucking the energy, or they are sucking energy from you, or whatever. And rather than cut that, as was mentioned, just release your side. No longer be triggered by what they say. No longer be encouraged to fight. No longer join them in their misery. You will find that their tentacles will shrink back, that they will have to change and say, wait, it did not work this time. I tried to make them upset and I could not. Why is that? What is wrong? And then things will change in that dynamic. Things will alter when you are not there dancing with them. They will have to dance with themselves. It will happen, but you cannot do it for them. They are wounded, and they must do it themselves. They must heal internally. And all you can do is give yourself the space, drop those tentacles so that they cannot suck or encourage you to be a part of the fight. Do not fight. See them as a wounded animal that you cannot help because they will bite you. Take care of yourself. Compassion, distance, whatever is required. But know that they will only change if they are ready, if they choose this time to make the differences. Do not participate. Do not take it in. Do not participate in the argument, the struggle. Do not lash out. Be safe and compassionate to the being you are. Go inside and find that core of love for self and others. Go inside and tap into who you really are. That is how you handle when you cannot escape a situation.
We would add to this that if this is not someone within your home that you are considering family still, we would ask that you look at your belief systems, your social programming as to why you think you cannot distance yourself from family, because they are the same as anyone else. Blood truly makes no difference. Your true family is the family of your heart, and the fact that you may call someone father, brother, child, sister, whatever, is only part of a social structure. And as you move beyond the need by recognizing that we are all one, that we are all literally brother, sister, mother, father, child at the same time, and there's only one, and you see that in them, you no longer feel the structure of society holding you, saying you should. And please understand, most social programming includes the word should, whether implied or openly stated. And this is about breaking free of social programs. Look inside. Deal with your own stuff. Allow those around you to deal with theirs. And if it does not matter, we will talk about the body host for a moment. He has a mother, as do you all, and he will openly tell you he prefers her 1,000 miles away. And this is a true statement. The love is still there, but the understanding of not needing to be present is also there. You are, at your very core, love. That is all you are. But being loved does not mean you are a doormat. Being loved does not mean that you have to lay down and take whatever abuse, whatever bad behavior is being sent your way. It is okay, even if it is family, to walk away. Does not mean you do not love them. Does not mean you will not always love them. As we have said before, love is love, and love is all there is. Just know, this again is about when you are in a situation you feel is inescapable, look inside of yourself. Once you have done your work, you will find the escape route, if the one is still needed.
Thank you for all your questions. I think in the interest of time, that's all we can do, but there were some excellent questions that we were unable to address, but thank you.
And so it is.